speak about anger. Okay? Slow to anger or quick to anger. It's very important to know the two. In Proverbs it says, whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit is mightier than a city. So somebody who rules their own anger and can rule their own spirit and not get angry quick, of course we're all going to get angry. We all have that emotion. Anger is a part of who we are. But when we get angry very quickly, what we do is we diminish our spirit. When we learn how to handle things and take it, we all of a sudden become a lot more powerful. These people in life who are so mighty, these people who are so great and everything, but as soon as they lose their temper and they allow themselves to be angry, and they don't look mighty any longer. They just look like they're angry. You know, to give you an example, I met a guy on my trip. Okay, so I go to Cuba with the kids, and it's all good. I'm all burnt still, trying to get rid of the burn. So we're in Cuba, okay? And before I go, 2 days before I went, I joined a dating site.
Oh, yeah.
I joined a dating site. Yes, I did. And I was so excited. All these guys are getting back to me. I was so busy. Right? I was like, oh my gosh. Right? So I was able to pick my crop and everything, right? So I get to Cuba, and there's this guy, handsome dude. Okay, and the first day we're there, he's like talking to Alicia and I, and there's this little cat, and it didn't have a name. It's the lobby cat, and it didn't have a name. And I said, I wonder what its name is. And he said, ask him. And I was like, oh. So he was like, that's what we should name it, Ask him. And I said, but it's a girl. And Alicia was like, so we're going to call her Asker. So here's this cat. We're all calling it Asker every day. So we're developing a friendship. The next day, after we're there, him and I are hanging out tight now. Okay? Like, this guy was like straight cool. I forgot my toothbrush at home, and he had brought 10 toothbrushes for the locals. And I told him I forgot my toothbrush, and I had to go to the store. He brought me a toothbrush. You know, I thought that was sweet. So then that night, you know, we meet one of the locals on the resort, and he invited us to the disco. Okay? The disco is live. It is awesome. And I'm like, I don't want to party on the resort. I want to go where the locals are. You know, and so we get there, we're partying. It was so good. So good. I'm telling you, I can't even put it into words. But this guy all of a sudden starts showing his true colors. Because the ladies there are not what I would call desperate, but they are vulnerable because they're living in communistic conditions and they want a better lifestyle. They're hoping that these Canadian men, Italian men, you know, French men and everything of that nature are going to take them out of that situation. So no matter what the man looks like, he can get a woman. And they're beautiful women. Oh, the most beautiful women, they truly are. Went off and he saw this beautiful woman and he started to talk to her. And I was like, well, I only met him the day before, so I'm not all on him, but I'm gonna let him go and do his thing. So she was all vulnerable, and she liked it, and she was like, and she was talking to him. And then all of a sudden, he goes to a next woman, and a next woman, and another one. And I'm like, this guy's a goof. Like, he's just, if he was in Toronto, he wouldn't be able to do all that. These girls would be like, move, please. You better come with something good, never mind a citizenship, like, you know. And so he's like just talking to all these chicks. And so now at this point, I'm thinking, there's absolutely nothing that's going to go on between him and I. He's already out of my books. But now I become, what's the word I'm looking for? Protective over the other ladies. Because I'm seeing he has no intention of bringing any of those women home. He's getting their hopes up high, woman after woman. Here? He's from here.
Oh,
Woman, he just lives up there in North York. So woman after woman, no.
I thought you had thought he lived there. Okay.
No, he brought, a local brought him and I to the, right. So what happened was, I just felt like, I felt overprotective over these ladies. A lot of them are hookers as well, and they do things for actually a little bit of pesos, just a bag of clothing, you know? So I just felt like he was getting their hopes up. And so when he came back over by me, he's all excited and happy. And I said to him, I said, you know, if you were back in Canada, you wouldn't be able to do all that, eh? I said, you're getting these ladies' hopes up. And he's like, oh, never mind. They all know they're not going back anywhere to Canada. And I was like, you know what? You are an ass. You are an ass, seriously. And I started to ignore him. But I didn't say it in a mean way. I didn't say, you're an ass, get away. I said, you're an ass. Right? And then so him and he bought me a beer after that. And, you know, I wasn't really drinking too tough because I just, you know, was dancing. And that was it. Everything was cool. Next minute I turn around and my boy is gone. Leaves me at a local bar with pure locals, not one Canadian person, in this disco.
Was that safe?
No, it was not safe. It was not safe.
How dare you do that?
Yes, and I'm a woman and stuff, and it's in a disco after hours, people are drinking. How do I know where their mindset is? And so I look around and I said to the guy who brought us, the local who brought us, I said to him, his name was Ashmani. And I said, Ashmani, where is this guy? I won't say his name because I know he's going to be watching the video. And I'm calling him out hard. Right? But I'm like, where did he go? And he said, you made him mad. And he left. And I said, what? Wow. And I said, well, I can't stay here. Can you bring me back to the hotel? And he said, yeah, sure. So we're walking, and I'm walking in the middle of the dark. There's absolutely hardly any electricity. It's not like here where everything's lit up. We are in the country, pretty much, and walking, and I don't even know this dude, Ashmani, only met him hours before. So luckily there's police everywhere. So, like at that moment, and so I feel safe at that time. So I get back to the hotel, and that's it. The next morning, everything's cool. I wake up. I'm not going to be angry at the guy. He comes and he, you know, starts talking to my kids, but not to me. And Tyree and I are going into the sea together. Tyree and I are swimming and we're getting seashells and everything. This guy's talking to Tyree, swimming right beside us and talking to Tyree. So I said to him, I said, listen, please don't be dysfunctional with me. You left me at the disco, that's fine. But I just met you, and the impression that you're really giving to me is really stinky. Like, first you're doing all this with all these women, and then second of all, you leave me at the local bar, and now you're like ignoring me while you speak to my son as we're in the water swimming together. I said, please don't be dysfunctional. And he's like, okay. And then he ended up for the rest of the trip hanging around us. Hard. Like, after that, we were complete friends. He tried to touch me a few times, and I said, please don't, you know? And my excuse was, because I didn't want to be rude, my excuse was I don't want a vacation romance. I'm not into it. And I really wasn't. But if he didn't do that, maybe I would have considered getting to know him a little bit more, because I am on the dating site and coming back here and getting to know him a little bit more, right? So the guy's nice. He actually gave us a lift home from the airport, 3 o'clock in the morning. And he drove Alicia right to her door, and then drove me right to my door with Tyree. Nice, right? But I'm still not giving him anything. No love, no hugs, nothing, because he took off, showed me his weakness. At first, he looked mighty to me, and I could trust him, and I still would right now. So, but he is too quick to anger, and people who are too quick to anger are highly emotional and unpredictable. They will do anything in the midst of that selfish anger to just appease that anger emotion. Okay, they may say words that are inappropriate. They may do something. Some of them will pick up things and throw it. So now the man text messages me today, and he says to me, you know, I would have really liked to get to know you better when we were on the trip, to have some one-on-one time. I wanted to say to him, what? I don't even want to know you're here. But I didn't. I was just like, oh yeah, I know, but I'm just not into that. I'm a slow mover. I'm not a slow mover. Let's just keep it real. If I really like someone, we're flying. Like, there is no such thing as, you know, moving like a turtle. I'm going to be like the hare and the rabbit. Let's race. Let's do something about this. We're getting along. There's some chemistry. Let's get to know each other. And so he will never, ever get as close to me as what he could have gotten to me if he didn't pull that anger bit when we were at the club. And and just to go back, the next night, two nights after that, or 3 nights after that, we were going to go to the disco again. Okay? he had 4 friends come up from Toronto that were staying in the disco, in the hotel closer to, the resort closer to the disco. So he rented a car for the week. We all get into the vehicle, we drive to his friend's hotel, he's dropping off 2 friends, I thought. And 2 of the other friends are gonna come to the disco with us. But they all decided not to go to the disco, and it was just gonna be him and I in the car, going to the disco again alone. And so I said to his friends, I said to the one friend, why don't you just come? Because if you don't go, I'm not going. I'm gonna get him to drive me back to the resort. And his friend said, no, I'm too tired, I'm gonna retire. So he went in, and the guy said to me, why don't you wanna come to the disco with me? I said, because I'm not a fool. You left me once, you're not going to leave me again. And then he said, oh, is that how you're going to be? Just met me. We've been 4 days now, right? Just met me. Oh, is that how you're going to be? Is that the type of woman you are? You hold a grudge? And I said, no, it's not a grudge. It's called wisdom. It's wisdom. You left me, and you just met me the day before. Now you know me a little bit better. What's to say you're not going to do it again and leave me? I'm looking out for my life. And he's like, fine then. I'll just drop you off right here. Is that okay? And I'm like, oh, no, you didn't. And I'm like, and I said, look, you can do this. You can drop me off here if you like, and if anything happens to me, my life is in your hands, because you're the last one that was seen with me. Or you can drop me off at the resort where I'm safe. And he was like, fine, then I'll drop you off at the resort. I went to the resort, got out the car, and said, thank you very much, and still talked to the brother the next day. I did not keep any malice against him. I just didn't want to be alone with him. I just didn't want to go to any parties alone with him, and I didn't want him touching me or trying to develop anything further with me when he already showed me what the nature of his personality is. And I'm like, you see, this type of people are the ones who will always prevent things from happening good in their life. They will always sabotage themselves. The best thing we can do in life when we get upset, when we get angry at someone else, and people are going to make us angry because people are not perfect, and we're not perfect. And I'm not sitting here saying I don't get angry, because I can throw down like the rest of them that are not my team. And trust me, I can. I sometimes give people tongue lashings, and they're like, whoa, you know. But I'm telling you, I'm not perfect. But what I'm saying to you is, I notice I get more respect when I learn how to hold my tongue, hold my corner, hold in what I want to say, no matter how much it burns me. I'll say it in my head, what I want to say to the person, but I gain much more respect from God, because God says, child, you were not quick to anger, you can now represent my character. And then, after I gain more favor from God, I also learn how to use that maturity in every situation, and hardly anything can get to me. Hardly anything at all. I'm just, like I said, I could kick off, like the rest of them, I really can, but I know it's better for me not to. And I'm not sitting back saying, oh, I don't get angry. Nothing bothers me. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is, when it does bother me, I think, do I really want to get into it? Where's it going to get me? It's not going to get me any better place at all. And so, when something makes us angry, this week coming up, we have to sit back and just say, you know what, this is a test, and this too shall pass. Do the counting test that everyone does, that, you know, everyone goes through. Do the counting test, and it does turn out better. I do believe there is more joy than sadness. There is more light than darkness in our world. There are more flowers on earth than rocks and stones. There is much more of blue sky than clouds, as there is more love and kindness between humans than hate and revenge. There are so many, sorry, hold on. There are so many who forgive and forget than those who condemn and hate. There is more faith and belief than science can capture. We all came here for a visit, long or short, but to live together in peace and harmony. And if we extend our heart to fit more than just family and friends, we'll make from this world a better place for all of us to live in peace. So, let's do a prayer Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you. You are so beautiful. You are so precious to us. And we thank you for life. We thank you for all the emotions that you have given us, including the emotion of anger, as we do know that anger, used with wisdom, is a very important attribute in our life. However, to use anger just at any whim diminishes our character and lowers our personalities. Please, Father, help us to recognize every situation as it is laid before us, not to be quick to anger. Help us to be slow to anger, to understand why we don't have to be angry at that moment, and to understand that anger has a health impact on us when we use it out of its nature. Father, we'd like to thank you so much for everyone in the room, all their families, all their friends. Help each and every one of us as we go through our week, and help us to be strong and to rely on you at all times during the day. Whether things are positive or negative, we just know that they are all an experience that you want us to undergo in order to make us stronger. We thank you for so much. We love you. We honor you. We live you.